You're about to witness something that was deemed to be an impossibility. A previous administration that was so corrupt across so many agencies with so many people involved, it made it invincible. But it's about to be rolled up. Dozens of people are going to go to prison, and you know most of the names. Well, as I said in my last video, the purge, truth is spilling out like never before. And it made me think of this passage, which my friend Gans Shimura from Face Like the Sun tweeted out shortly after. Nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. So it's pretty astounding to see the Daily Mail report today that Charlie Sheen raped 13-year-old Corey Haim on the set of the movie Lucas, according to a friend of the late child actor. Of course, these same allegations have been hinted at by Corey Haim's friend, Corey Feldman. And it remains astounding to us that when the alt media reports about Pedogate and Pizzagate, our videos are immediately deemed not advertiser friendly. But when the Today Show reports on Pedogate and interviews Corey Feldman, their videos are of course fully monetized. Here's the results of the monetization on just our most recent truth videos. The Purge, not suitable for most advertisers. The Monsters Among Us, not suitable for most advertisers. Monsters aren't born, they are created. Not suitable for most advertisers, according to YouTube. And the same is true for Proof. Media law enforcement are lying about the Vegas shooting. It's just not suitable for most advertisers because YouTube is a gatekeeper for the corporate oligarchy. But guess what? We the people are coming after the corporate oligarchy. And in the case of the allegations against Charlie Sheen, he's just an actor, a Hollywood actor. When we talk about Pizzagate, which is the DC-centric problem of child sex trafficking,
the world is run by elite pedophiles.
Do you think for 1 minute that high-powered, well-connected deep state politicians can't and don't get away with these same behaviors? If Charlie Sheen could for the better part of his entire career? And in this video, I want to highlight a story from our friend, investigative journalist Liz Crokin, who wrote today how Mueller and President Trump are pulling the biggest sting in history. But before I get to that, let's set the stage with some of these tweets from Stealth Jeff on Twitter at Draw and Strike. Using Threadreader here, we just want to remind you how far we've come since Trump took office. Stealth Jeff writes, "This started either before Trump announced his run for president or soon thereafter. Someone who knew what happened told him. Someone in the IC, likely military intel, sat Trump down and laid out the entire Uranium One bribery scheme. How all across the breadth of the Obama administration, people in high offices took massive bribes to facilitate the selling of uranium to Russia. It involved so many people, it compromised so many agencies, that people who did it counted on it never being exposed or prosecuted. The lengths to which they corrupted our government offices to enrich themselves by selling out our country virtually ensured that they would walk. People knew, but nobody could talk. The people involved in the scheme were at the highest levels of the American government. So patriots in our government had their hands tied. There was nothing they could do to stop the sale. Even after some of the dirty facts behind Uranium One became known in 2015, it was easily buried, ignored, or passed by, and I'll add, by a complicit, compliant mainstream media. But somebody took a chance on Trump. They sat him down, walked him through what happened. Ponder the impossible task being revealed. Even if he won the election, he'd be taking over a government that had been corrupted and compromised by the previous administration to a degree that was almost unfathomable. How do you go about restoring the U.S. government to what it should be instead of what it's become? And Trump and his advisors came up with a plan. A brilliant plan. An intelligence operation based on deception. It started during the primaries when Trump began taking every opportunity he could to brag about what good friends he'd be with Putin. Trump literally could not seem to shut up about how awesomely awesome his relationship with Putin was going to be.
In North Carolina today, Hillary Clinton ripped into Donald Trump for lavishing praise on Vladimir Putin.
Even taking the astonishing step of suggesting he prefers the Russian president to our American president.
It became a running joke, a campaign feature, engendering much hand-wringing and concern. Why does Trump keep going out of his way to incessantly brag about the sweet, sweet deals he and Putin are going to do together? Go back and look. During the primaries, during the general election campaign, what happened every time Trump did this Putin act? He literally trolled all of the people who took dirty Russian money to compromise our national security into attacking him for it. And all he was doing was talking about something he hadn't done yet and would never really do. Literally every single time Trump talked about his good friend Vladimir, Hillary reminded him Putin is not our ally.
That is not just unpatriotic. It's not just insulting to the office and the man who holds the office. It is scary. It is dangerous.
Obama condescendingly chided Trump for his friendly talk about Putin. Holder was aghast. Lynch was stunned, and they fell right into his trap. He talked about doing deals with a guy all of these traders took bribes from to sell uranium to. All of this stuff about Uranium One we're just now finding out about, Trump and Sessions knew about all of this before they were sworn in. Part of the intelligence op Trump and company are running is you never show what you know. You keep your enemy in the dark. Trump and Sessions knew about all of the details of Uranium One before the election. How much uranium was being shipped to Moscow, who facilitated the shipping, they already know all of this. So here's where the second part of the intelligence operation begins. You convince people it's Trump and his team being investigated. All of the traders who facilitated the Uranium One deal were on high alert after the transfer of power. Would they be sniffed out? Well, not to worry. Rest easy, Hillary. Podesta, almost immediately the new president and his team end up embroiled in a very public scandal. Trump asks Comey to back off Flynn, then fires Comey, who leaks memos to the New York Times and demands appointment of a special counsel. With a president who bragged about doing deals with Russia, an advisor caught on the phone with the Russian ambassador. Everybody agrees. Great idea. Let's appoint a special counsel to investigate Russian interference in our election. So be it. Jeff Sessions then recuses himself from the Russian investigation. But remember, he already knows everything anyway. Deputy AG Rod Rosenstein then appoints Bob Mueller and tasks him with investigation of the Russian interference in the 2016 election. Mueller and Rosenstein both already know that Trump and Sessions both know all of the details of Uranium One. Got it? An intelligence operation based on deception calls for putting the enemy at ease because they don't understand what you're really doing. The reality: Mueller has been digging even deeper into Uranium One and into Fusion GPS and the Trump dossier. He has found Russian interference in the 2016 election. Do you know what it was? He found a massive Russian bribery scheme involving one of the presidential candidates in which she compromised U.S. national security. He also found this very same candidate illegally funding solicitation of information from Russian government sources to smear the other candidate. And to compound that offense, this candidate also tried to hide her funding of this dossier by using a law firm, which is illegal. The investigation is mostly over. Most of the indictments from the grand juries have been made, sealed. You're about to witness something that was deemed to be an impossibility. A previous administration that was so corrupt across so many agencies with so many people involved, it made it invincible. But it's about to be rolled up. Dozens of people are going to go to prison, and you know most of the names. Not until the hammer actually falls and all of the 17 sealed indictments are unsealed will most people figure out what Trump and his team did. And it's literally too late at this point to stop what's coming. That window closed weeks ago. Examples will be made of these people. When Trump and Sessions are done, no one will ever try this kind of treason again. So now we'll jump over to that Liz Crokin article, and I believe she's quite right, and it reflects much of what Stealth Jeff has already said. Trump did not collude with Russia. The left and the media have carried that narrative based off of lies and a fake dossier, which, by the way, Hillary Clinton paid for. Trump allowed them to carry their false narrative because he knew he was innocent and that the investigation would eventually turn to the real parties who colluded with Russia. The Clintons. What stands out in the affidavit Rosenstein signed included, quote, matters that arose or may arise from the investigation, because they knew an investigation into Russian collusion would eventually lead to Clinton. The left and the media have been so blinded by their partisanship that they failed to see that the greatest bait and switch in the history of the world is going down right before their very eyes. They've naively assumed that since Mueller had been part of the swamp, he'd protect the swamp. So the investigation is steering straight for the guilty actors, and Tony Podesta is under the gun for the Podesta Group's involvement with selling the country's uranium to Russia. This will lead to indictments of his brother, John, Clinton's former campaign manager, and yes, Hillary too. Multiple sources have confirmed to me that Podesta is one of the 17 sealed indictments currently sitting in Washington, D.C. Other guilty swamp creatures are catching on to the true nature of Mueller's investigation as well. On October 30th, Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi issued a call for an independent investigation into Trump's alleged campaign collusion with Russians, just moments after Mueller unsealed indictments for campaign operatives Paul Manafort and Rick Gates. She's also softened her tone from calling for Trump's impeachment to now stating impeaching Trump is not someplace we should go. Last week, top Democrats Elizabeth Warren and Donna Brazile threw Clinton under the bus by admitting she rigged the primary against Bernie Sanders. Why would they do this now? They're distancing themselves from Clinton for a reason. On November 3rd, The Hill reported that Trump said that he'll be proven innocent in the Russian election meddling investigation if Special Counsel Mueller treats everything fairly. And Trump said, and if he is, I'm going to be very happy, because when you talk about innocent, I am truly not involved in any form of collusion with Russia. And Liz Crokin concludes, if my theory proves to be correct, this will go down as one of the most brilliant sting operations in history. As you guys know, our friend Liz Crokin has been pointing her finger directly at the deep state traitors, and she knows very well that Pizzagate and Pedogate are very real.
President Trump is the first president in the history of the United States that has vowed to go after not only pedophiles, but the elite pedophiles.
We live in very exciting times, my friends, and again, Luke 8:17, for nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Thanks for watching, and for real news 24/7, visit us at sgtreport.com.
This country has a vicious, corrupt core, okay? And the most vicious, corrupt people are sitting in D.C. right now, running the show and forming the media elite and establishment that surrounds and protects them and promulgates their bullshit all over the airways.